A portion of today's video is kindly sponsored by Thrive Market. It's taking all of my willpower to not write oats ma goats. Function over fancy. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. It's gonna happen. We live here. What were you in your former life? Would this be considered de-influencing? You don't need a Pinterest-worthy space to have it be functional.
A palette of gold, gold, gold. A palette of gold, gold, gold.
Well, hey friends, so glad you stopped by to hang out with me today while I declutter and reorganize my pantry/laundry room. Let's hear it for multi-purpose spaces. They can definitely be a challenge, but I love to use what I have and to make things work. So that's the space that we're working on today for this episode of Messy to Minimal. This is a series that I started 3 years ago, and I'm actually going to be looking at my very first pantry/laundry room declutter video that I made back in 2020, and I'm going to be reacting to that, sharing with you some thoughts, if things are the same, if things are different, what worked for me, what doesn't work for me, and taking that motivation and inspiration into our current pantry space and working on the crazy mess that I have going on in there. So I hope you enjoy this video. Give it a thumbs up if you do while you're watching it, and drop this emoji in the comments so that I can get down there and chat with you guys a little bit more about minimalism, simple living, decluttering, or whatever else you want to chat it up about. So I'm going to grab my laptop. I have that video from 3 years ago queued up. Let's sit down and take a look at this together. Okay, the most embarrassing room in my house. Extreme pantry declutter with me, Messy to Minimal, episode 5.
And it is embarrassing.
Oh my gosh.
This room is basically the Achilles heel of our house. My husband went.
This room is basically the Achilles heel of our house. I've actually found that to be true in any house we've been in any iteration of the decluttering or organizing that I've done in our pantry. And I now realize, like hadn't learned this lesson yet back 3 years ago, but now I realize this principle of however many times a day you access a space in your home is probably equal to how many times a year you should be decluttering that space. It is probably one of the highest traffic zones in our house, which is why it can get out of hand so quickly.
In our grocery budget just seemed to have gotten bigger, and we were making a lot of unnecessary purchases. Like, full disclosure, just being super honest with you guys.
The grocery budget had kind of gotten out of hand back then. It took a lot for me to even admit this back then. So I do appreciate that. And honestly, back then we were just buying without a lot of intention. We didn't meal plan for the week. We didn't meal prep for the week. We went into stores and just grabbed what we thought was good and what we liked. We didn't really make a budget or a shopping list or anything like that. And nowadays we've learned a lot more, and we have different resources that have really helped us. We shop for groceries in a lot of different places. We source from all sorts of places, and it kind of changes as the seasons go. But a place that I have shopped year-round and love the most is Thrive Market. And they're going to be sponsoring the next 2 minutes of today's video, and then we'll hop back into reacting to this video from 3 years ago. You all know how much I love Thrive Market and have for years, and I am so happy to be partnering with them again for today's video. So Thrive Market, for those of you who don't know, is an online membership-based grocery store with membership prices that can be as low as $5 a month if you spring for the yearly membership. And they have everything from shelf-stable pantry staples to fresh and frozen items. They also carry a huge variety of household and cleaning supplies, as well as stuff for your kids, your pets, and everyone in between. And I really mean everyone. Gluten-free, paleo, vegan, vegetarian, AIP, low FODMAP, keto, etc. Their selection of diet or allergy-friendly snacks and foods have literally changed my life. I'm allergic to egg whites and my daughter has a dairy intolerance, and we save so much on foods that fit our special diets by shopping for them through Thrive Market. And don't just take my word for it. Thrive Market actually offers a price match guarantee on all their items, so if you find it cheaper somewhere else, they'll match the price for you. This month, I stocked up on some pantry staples like this organic oat milk, coconut cream, and plant-based mac and cheese for my daughter, along with a restock of some of our dry goods for baking. And then I re-upped our endless need for cleaning supplies and laundry items in this house. This Indigo Wild laundry soap is one of the best things I have ever smelled in my life, and it's almost half the price of where I was purchasing it before. In fact, I saved over $80 with this month's Thrive Market order, and if you'd like to check them out for yourself, they're offering 30% off your first order along with a free gift worth up to $60 in value. Just follow the link in my description box, which is thrivemarket.com/Natalie Bennett to redeem. Thanks to Thrive Market for helping me stock my pantry and for making this video possible by sponsoring that portion. Now, back to the video from 3 years ago. Just a forewarning, this is not going to be Pinterest worthy. I someday would love to have a beautifully organized pantry with like those beautiful baskets and labels and decanters and all of that. That's not the stage of life that I am in. Yes, I feel somewhat the same. So I agree that you don't need a Pinterest-worthy space to have it be functional. In this little section, I say that is something that I would love someday. I would love to have those beautiful baskets and bins. And now, 3 years later, you're not gonna hear me say that. Right now, I do not aspire to the Pinterest-worthy pantry like I did back then. I would argue that sometimes having it be Pinterest-worthy actually hinders us from some of the functionality, because those baskets and bins and containers and stuff actually are a little bit less user-friendly than just throwing things on the shelf and being able to access what we love and what we need and what we use on a daily basis. Oh my gosh, this can organizer. Oh, this ended up being such a horrible solution for storing and organizing cans. I would love to know in the comments, has anyone had success? Does this work for anyone? Oh my gosh, another thing that did not work were these spinning little organizers that I put snacks in for the kids. It was very precious real estate that was taken up by just a couple of things that you could store in these. They frustrated the kids. They didn't even spin very well on those wire racks. They were just not good.
This is our bin of household tools. Moving on.
Oh, we had this little bin of household tools. We have since then purchased several more tools for our household because we have taken on a lot more DIY projects, remodels, renovations in this new house, which is a fixer-upper. So this is a really good example why minimalism in one home, in one season of life, looks different than minimalism in another home, in a different season of life, which is why I don't use anyone else's standards, and I never expect you guys to use my standard for organization or how many items I keep in my home, what I consider minimalism. In this home, those things are necessary for our current lifestyle and the projects, the plans that we have for this new space and for this stage of life. So just something to keep in mind. I'm gonna pause it right there. I've seen more here in this video that I want to continue to share with you guys and reflect on and talk about, but I've been chatting for a while now and I need to get started with this decluttering in our current pantry. Stay tuned for more looking back at what was going on 3 years ago and comparison and contrasting. But now let's take a step into our current pantry / laundry room. Okay, welcome to the disaster zone. Hey, it's not as bad as the before of that video from 3 years ago. I am getting real frustrated with this space. I have neglected it for far too long. I'm going to pause the wash because that's going to get loud in a minute. But this is the wash side of things, and as you can see, kind of like the old house, the dumping ground for random stuff. And this, like having cleaning supplies and toilet paper and stuff piled on here, is a really good indication to me that the spots that I have set out for those things aren't easy to put that stuff away, or there's not a good system over there. So I'm going to be evaluating that, as well as what we have going on over here on the pantry side. You guys may have seen the video last year where I built these shelves in here and put together this whole system. It's actually working quite well with a couple of exceptions. So the very top up here is not working out so great, and the very bottom where we store more bulk dry goods and baking supplies and stuff like that, this system is not working out for me. So I hopefully have a solution for that. Everything in the middle is fine, and you'll notice I don't have baskets and boxes and bins and special stuff and labels, and I don't decant all of my pasta out. That is just not my speed, honestly. It's easier for me to just walk in here and grab a box of pasta if I need it, or grab a thing of oat milk or whatever. But there is a time and a place for like little bins and stuff, which I think is a system that I would like to start to implement up here. This is basically as I left it when I organized up here. I kind of ran out of steam the last time I was doing this project, and this needs a bit of attention, along with the stuff that we have above the door. We also have like cleaning supplies and stuff like this over here. This is like our HVAC system, hot water tank behind here, mops and dusters and brooms and grabbers and stuff like that, but it just kind of ends up looking like this in the end. That is our second fridge. We love having that in here. It's working okay in here, but it could definitely use some decluttering and some reorganization, and it could definitely use some sprucing up for the springtime. So I'm gonna do some spring cleaning in my pantry. I'm gonna start over here, kind of like I did in that video 3 years ago. We're gonna start off with the easier side of things to get the ball rolling with a quick win, and also having this cleared off might give me a little bit of space to set some stuff on top of it as I do some more organizing over on this side. So let's start on the laundry side. I was able to quickly and easily clear off the top of the washer and dryer. It was just a lot of like packaging and random things that didn't belong, like a bag of chips. That's the thing, like with a laundry room that's also a pantry, like that half and half sort of thing. Stuff that's laundry related ends up over there, stuff that's food related ends up over here. It's gonna happen. We live here. But as far as like decluttering actual stuff goes, I have some of these containers where I kept laundry and cleaning supplies in. I've only actually used one of them in this last year, which is my powdered laundry cleaner. So, I mean, they're literally like collecting dust. They have not been touched in a year, like since I put them on the shelf for this project that I worked on last year. So that's a very good indication to me that these need to go. It's not Pinterest worthy over here, but I think it's good for now. We do want to remodel this side of the room. We have plans for this. We want to stack the washer and dryer and then create like a tall cabinet here that we can store cleaning supplies. I could probably hide my broom or my vacuum in there. So I'm not gonna get too detailed with like storage solutions and organizing and stuff like that. My goal here was just to get rid of the stuff that we're not using, and I think I accomplished that. Now I'm gonna move on to the pantry side of things and start working my way through these shelves and our food, getting rid of stuff to like donate to the food pantry that we don't use anymore or that doesn't fit our diet, and then implementing a bit of organization. Right off the bat, a lot of what I'm seeing here is just empty packaging that needs to go. We leave packages in here with like 2 cornflakes left in the bottom. We all do it. No naming names or pointing fingers. There's also just a bunch of random junk in here. Like this hot pack, this rice pack. This does not belong in here. And then also some food items. It's rare to come across it these days. We pretty much eat everything that we buy, but there are those random one-off items that just don't work out for us. This isn't even, well, I mean, it is ours. I did buy this, but I actually bought it for my brother-in-law. He and my sister were in the hospital for a few days with my nephew. He's fine now. This was a couple of months ago, but I brought them a care package, and he specifically, my brother-in-law specifically requested some Red Bull. I couldn't find the individual ones, so I bought him a 12-pack, and here we are. I gave him 2 of them, and we have all the other 10 still in here. So you know what, I'm just gonna offer this to him because we don't drink that in our house. A couple of other things that we don't eat. I'm very sensitive to glutamates in food, and some like condensed cream soups are really full of them. I think one of my kids is sensitive to that too, so we can pass on those. I'll donate them to a like food pantry, food bank. And then we tried these out. This is like a kind of like a TV dinner sort of thing. It serves a much better purpose going to someone that would like it. So that's kind of what I'm looking for here. Again, it's kind of rare to find that sort of thing, but I come across it every once in a while, and I'm putting together a little bag to go donate, and then I'm gonna text my sister and see if my brother-in-law would like the rest of the Red Bull that I bought. So when I kind of rebuilt this pantry last year, I just used the supplies that I had on hand. We already had these totes, and this is what we've been storing our bags of rice and flour, oats, beans, sugar, etc. I've gotten really into making sourdough bread and lots of stuff from scratch, homemade. And so I am going through a lot more flour, whole wheat flour, oats, and that sort of thing. So I think a system that's a bit more user-friendly, that's a bit more food-friendly is going to be better for us. And so I found food-safe buckets at a local Tractor Supply store for like $3.99 each. The lids were more expensive than the buckets themselves, but it was all actually quite affordable still. And so I can use these totes for something else. We have a garage declutter and organize that we're going to be doing in the springtime in our second building, so these can go out there for something like that. Nothing's going to go to waste here, but I am going to just improve the system a little bit more and make it a bit more user-friendly for our family. This is where I hid the Halloween candy, and guess what? It's just in time for it to now be Easter candy. Yay! Am I a mean mother? I don't even know what that was. Is this a carrot? What were you in your former life? With these totes, which are not food safe, I had to keep everything in their packaging, but it would be so much better if I was able to just take all of this packaging away, have it loose inside of this bucket so that I can scoop out of here into the containers that I have in my kitchen that I use on a daily basis. So already I'm feeling like this is going to be a better system. Snap ring onto bucket, spin lid onto ring. And by the way, we have washed and dried thoroughly all of these buckets and rings. So this, oh, it's like I need a mallet or something. Oof, okay, there we go. Ow. Nice. Oh, and then the handle still moves to the side of it. And then you just, oh, that is going to be so much better. Oh my gosh. Oats. It's taking all of my willpower to not write oats ma goats on the top of this. Please enjoy some music and this sped up montage of me decanting our dry goods into our buckets, like the homesteading prepper I am. You're on candid camera, by the way. Oh, your haircut looks nice. So these lids, they're great, but they're breaking my hands to get on. So this ring, you have to pop it on. It's like literally like I've got bruises. There you go. See how hard that is?
Most people would use like a mallet.
I know, that's what I said, but I don't have one. So, do you see all those? I need like all of these done. I did the first two and I was like, yeah, no.
What do these have in them?
These have food in them. So this is flour and rice and oats and pinto beans.
What are pinto beans?
Pinto beans are like the brown beans that we eat.
Do you like my beautiful dress?
Yes, I do. What a beautiful dress. Oh, look at those cute babies. Well, I am thoroughly covered in flour and rice and oat dust, but this system is looking great. Weston and I measured it out, and it looks like if we raised the bottom two shelves here, we could actually stack these buckets too high, which would essentially double our storage capacity. This right now is what we can reasonably consume before any of this would go bad, which the nice thing about this system is that it actually preserves the food a lot longer than just storing the bags in totes. Case in point, unfortunately, the whole wheat flour that I had, I wasn't actually making my way through this fast enough because I discovered a better brand. This King Arthur brand of the whole wheat flour is so much better than the budget whole wheat flour from Target. This expired, and normally I'm okay with pushing the dates a bit, but it's rancid. That's something that I've learned recently with all the sourdoughing I've been doing. So I can't even donate these, unfortunately. That is just a bummer. So have to move on from that, but we have very little food waste in here with the bulk that we've been able to buy and the stocking up that we've been able to do of non-perishables like this dry goods and the canned goods that we have. And this has really served us very well. I've talked about it many times before, so I won't belabor the point. But even when our life was crazy and our pantry looked like an absolute disaster like you saw from the video 3 years ago, in that video from 3 years ago, I did say we don't buy things hugely in bulk, but we did purchase a little extra non-perishables here and there to build up our stock. Nowadays, we definitely are purchasing things more in bulk because our space and our lifestyle and our budget can handle it a bit more, so it's gonna look different for everyone. Having a little bit extra on hand of our non-perishables has always worked out very well for us, whether it was back then or it was now. Especially now though, because of living out a little bit farther, it's more difficult to get to the grocery store. We've been stocking up on non-perishables and dry goods like this since before the plague, or before people were freaking out that it's the end of the world. This has not been purchased in panic. We're not wiping the store shelves clean. We're definitely leaving some for others. This has been built up little by little, and it's really served us well. And we're going to continue to do that and to improve our system. I think this is a vast improvement over just storing the stuff in the totes. We can still use these totes for something else, so that's not a waste, but man, my pantry right now or the laundry room side of things is such a mess. I've just been shoving things toward this end of the room, and I think I'm starting to shove myself out the door. So I'm gonna get up and do a little bit of tidying and get this sort of buttoned up, and then I think I'm gonna just restock some of the stuff that I got from Thrive Market, do a little bit of arranging on the shelves, do a little bit more decluttering and organizing. So I'll pop you up on the tripod and get back to work. Hello, hello. It's day 2 and we're gonna keep working in here. I've already made so much progress. I was able to consolidate some things, declutter some other stuff out and pop it into that food bank donation bag. And I've made my way through everything now except for the top shelf and then some cleaning supplies. So that's what we're gonna work on today and finish this video up with. I'm not much of a baskets and bins person, as you know. However, there is a time and a place for popping a collection of things into a bin, especially if it's on a high shelf. For me, this is the application that makes sense for bins. Just not necessarily to have every little thing on the shelf in its own category or have pretty labels on it. Function over fancy. That's my story and I'm sticking to it, and that's what I'm gonna keep in mind as I finish out this project. If you're enjoying this video so far, would you give it a thumbs up? You might not know this, but it really helps out your favorite creators, and I would appreciate it so very much. I do have a Cricut machine and they're great for making beautiful labels, and I'll probably get to that point, but for now I'm just going to use these janky old little bin clips that I have to quickly label what's in the bins right now, and if this organization works out for us, I will spend the time doing my Cricut. Can I even call myself an influencer if I have bin labels that look this janky? Would this be considered de-influencing? You don't need things to look beautiful to have it work for you. Repeat after me. You don't need things to look beautiful to work for you. These, I think, are going to work so much better. They freed up so much space, and that means that I can take care of this hot mess that we've got going on with like cleaning supplies. I've got some like Ziploc bags and aluminum foil and stuff like that over there. So I'm just gonna tidy this up and wrap up this project. I knew we had another one of our fridge water filters. Toss this into the kitchen. Incoming! Well, it just slid under the couch. Anyone want to take bets on how long it'll take for me to remember that it's there? ADHD is so fun. Oh my goodness, I am so happy with how this turned out. As you can see, we definitely have extra room on the shelves where we've consolidated things, but this gives me a really good idea of anything that we need. So I've been putting together this list as I go of stuff that we could be stocking up a bit more on. And no, honey bucket doesn't mean the Sanny can. I would literally like to get one of these 5-gallon buckets and fill it with honey. That is quite the investment, so that will be something that we build up a little bit over time, kind of like we've built up this stock bit by bit. But I think everything is fitting in here much better with this new system. And as you can see, this third highest shelf has quite a bit of room above it, and I think that's just the room that we need to shift everything up a little bit so that we can stack these buckets too high. That is a project for another time, but I think that that will kind of complete what we have going on in here. The top shelf is looking great. We will see how it functions, but already I can tell it's going to be better than, you know, the moving box that was shredding apart and just the random stuff that we had up there. And then the cleaning supplies and paper goods and other stuff like that are fitting great on these shelves. Again, it would be ideal for us, and this is the plan, to have that floor to ceiling tall sort of cupboard where we can keep like our mop and broom and other cleaning supplies and stuff in here. But we're using what we have, and I think that right now with what we have, this is a really good use of the space, and I am so happy with how this turned out. I have a couple of bags here ready to go. This one actually has cleaning supplies in it that we don't use that I was able to declutter out, but they're perfectly good. So I'll see if the food bank accepts stuff like that. And then I have food and plates and plastic cups and stuff that can also go. It cracked me up watching that video and hearing me say, I don't really bake. And it was true. I didn't really bake, and I haven't really baked up until just like a few months ago. I have really gotten into home-cooked, scratch-made sourdough, etc. And so it's just so interesting to me how the seasons of life and the different interests that you have can actually dictate what your storage looks like and how practical different systems and different inventory is in your house. That's why simple living and what you choose to keep, it's so individual, and that can change from season to season, even for the same person or the same family and household. Speaking of baking, I would love to show you guys, we're out of time for this video, but probably in next week's video, I'm going to be in my kitchen and I'm gonna go through my little baking cabinet setup that I have there, because I've been doing so much more baking. That's gotten a lot more traffic, and I would like to declutter and tidy up this corner cabinet that I have in this system that I put together in my kitchen. Stay tuned for that. I think that's going to be in the video that I post next week, which will also include what I got my kids for Easter this year, maybe even a little bit of gardening, so stay tuned for that. If you enjoy my decluttering videos, you'll probably also enjoy my day in the life or get it all done with me videos. I do decluttering projects within those videos and share with you some of the other stuff that I'm really interested in, and some family time and other stuff like that. So I hope you'll come back for more. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And don't forget to check out Thrive Market before you leave. That link is in my description box. thrivemarket.com/Natalie Bennett to get you 30% off your first order plus a free gift. And it's awesome to be able to work with sponsors that make putting out free content on my channel possible, and Thrive Market, they're one of the good ones. Well, thanks so much for hanging out with me and being my buddy for this project of spring cleaning and decluttering and organizing my pantry/laundry room. Thanks so much for spending a little part of your day here with me on my channel, and I'll catch you later.